Hey guys, this is AwesomeJohn22 coming at you today with another review. This is one I've really been looking forward to doing because I do have something new planned for this review that I will get into later. Today, people, we are looking at Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Lockdown, the big bad, though not quite too big in this toy line. There's my hand, you see, he's kind of small. But yeah, he looks pretty good. He's got some cool detailing. And he comes with his giant face gun, which is just the side of ridiculous, but we will get to that later. First, let's take a look at this guy's transformation by getting him transformed through the power of jump cuts. And here we have Lockdown in his vehicle mode, and it is a very, very nice looking vehicle mode, though it was much darker in the movie, and I kind of wish it had side windows here. It's kind of popped out, there we go. Side windows here to kind of block the very obvious robot parts that are stuck in there. Back into the light a little bit and then zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Really cool translucent blue windows though, even for this back window here, and really nice paint detail even on the aft of the car, the rear of the car I guess you would say. Really cool pseudo logo there. A little bit of kibble underneath, you can see his head, but for the most part pretty good. And he does have a Decepticon symbol here, despite the fact that in the movie he is unaligned rather than a Decepticon. And he does roll very, very well. And he has weapon storage. Technically speaking, you could take the giant cannon and peg it like so into the vehicle. But I think that looks kind of silly. Though, to be fair, if you look at it compared to how silly it looks coming out of his head in robot mode, I guess this isn't really much of a stretch. Moving on to his transformation. Now, what I like to do is I like to start by loosening up the back section and then just loosening up the arms like so. Next, I like to come around on the bottom and just kind of bring the legs out a little bit. Then I come up here to the front of the car and I just loosen everything up so that I can bring this up like so, which allows me to come back down here and take all of this and just rotate it around, rotating the head into place, and then accordion this down into place like so, and fold the chest pieces into place. And I'll come down here, split the legs, and rotate them, and flip out the feet. Then I will take the arms and rotate everything into place, and there you have Lockdown in his robot mode. And Lockdown in robot mode is pretty good, I guess. He looks perfectly fine. He's got his lower arms kind of affixed to these door panels. You can see that's where the Decepticon symbol was. You can see it's kind of only like half an arm, and that really bothers me a lot, actually, more than it probably should. But he's got a cool look to him, I guess. His head sculpt is nice. Zooming in on it a bit, bring the camera up some more, you can see he does resemble Lockdown in the movie without his mask on, and he does have some light piping. If I can get it to work in the lights that I have, you can kind of see it. It goes through from right there, which is also the peg for his giant gun that I mentioned earlier. Detail on the chest is pretty good. You can see he's got his car parts there. Little teeny tiny Decepticon symbol right there. And he's got some other cool details. You can see car details end up on the arms covering up the wheels. That looks kind of cool. All kinds of cool tech detailing in the legs. His articulation is pretty good all throughout. Ball jointed neck even, which we aren't seeing as often anymore. The only issue I have really with this figure, aside from the fact that he doesn't quite look like he did in the movie, and the fact that his arms are wonky, is the backpack. That and that he's really small, but mostly the backpack. And I do have one other issue with this figure, so before we get into demonstrating the weapon, I do want to address something that you might have noticed during the transformation scene, that the audio seemed like it was from a different session, let's put it that way, because it didn't quite sync up. In fact, I would bet it didn't sync up at all, and that's because I actually took the transformation scene audio from a transformation scene of transforming this guy over here, Dark of the Moon Roadbuster. And that is because, in terms of their transformation scheme, these two figures are almost completely identical. And that's just lazy. I'm sorry, I don't care how pressed for time Hasbro and Takara might be right now, how low their budget might be, if they're having to assign people to these toys who shouldn't be, if someone was assigned to design this toy who designed this one. But that's lazy, and it really lowers my opinion of the figure when you really think about it. When I really think about it, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't bother you, but it bothers me. Taking him out of the way, we can move on to this guy's weapon, which I do think is cool. I think it's probably the coolest part about him. It does have this peg here that you can peg into his hand, so he can hold it like a normal rifle, like so. But if you've seen the movie and or the trailers, you know that the real way this guy holds his weapon is by popping it out of his face. So they did allow you to emulate this by letting you peg the weapon into his face, and now he can do the whole face gun thing. It does have a missile launcher. It's you put your fingers here, pull back, and it goes like 3 inches. Not super impressive. But hey, I actually successfully showed a missile gimmick on my review show. I'm pretty impressed with myself. Well, there, now the missile's back in there. Removing this. What do I think of Lockdown? I think Lockdown is a great character with great figures that perfectly represent... Oh wait, no. I'm looking at my script for a possible future review of animated Lockdown. I think Lockdown is alright. I'm glad I got him. He is the villain of the movie, more so than Galvatron. Though I would say that Galvatron is probably the cooler and more memorable villain, just because he's Megatron brought back to life in this soulless body with this really kick-ass new version of transformation technology built into him that gives him an advantage, and he manages to take the entire generation of human-built Autobots and turn them to his side in an instant and wage a war when that morning he had nothing. And that is cool. And Lockdown has some really memorable lines in the movie. He's got a giant face gun. He has some memorable scenes with Optimus Prime where they were fighting. But between the fact that I feel that he was really only there to drop exposition about the potential next movie, and the fact that his primary representative in the toy line is kind of meh. It's really diminishing the impact that he had on me. Let's put it that way. As for this figure, partially because of all those things I just mentioned, partially, causing all those things I just mentioned, I don't know, I just don't think the figure's that good. I would still pick it up if you want a version of this figure that isn't the crappy flip change one, because I don't see us getting another version of this guy for quite a while. Though you may want to hold out. They might bring back the Human Alliance figures and give us a Human Alliance version of him that would be very cool. They might eventually give us a proper Voyager class version of him. So I'm going to say I do not recommend this figure, but with a heavy dose of go with your gut, because it's really up in the air right now whether we're going to get anything better. But guys, that's it for this review of Transformers Dark of the Moon, Transformers Age of Extinction Lockdown. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined. In the description down below, you will find a link to my blog, my Twitter, my new second channel, Go check that out as I knock my table over. And my collections video. Check out that collections video. If you see anything in it that you would like me to review, let me know and I'll see what I can do. This has been Awesome John 22, and I will talk to you guys later.